understand is to perceive patterns. With the advent of technology, the simplifications and complications of all things have increased at an astounding rate. Analytics guides us to read between the lines, to discover and create meaningful patterns in data. To talk more on the subject of analytics, we have with us Mr. Deepak Abbot, who has over 17 years of experience in the internet industry. He has previously worked with Paytm, Reliance, and Satyam Computers. He is a proponent of growth culture and has driven growth for some of the leading mobile applications in India, including Paytm, Ghana, Times of India, and Tripura. I request Mr. Abbot to come on stage and impart some of his knowledge to us.
I think this is, if I wear this to office, I'll be outside because I see people wearing shorts and t-shirts. In fact, I was at Google office last week in Mountain View, and the guy who was giving us the Google dress tour, he told us that Google has a dress culture, a dress code for Google. I was like surprised, I don't see that being enforced here. So what exactly is that? They said you should be wearing clothes. Right. So I think we've given the introduction. So I work for a company called Times Internet, which basically is a digital media company, and we do apps like Times of India, Economic Times, Ghana. How many of you are using Times of India app? Alright. And you listen to music or you listen to music on your apps? How many of you are using Ghana? Okay. And I also work on, so we've been acquiring a lot of companies recently. So we've acquired a company called ClickBuzz, which is by far the biggest cricket, not just the cricket, but by far the biggest sports app in the world. We get about 45 to 50 million unique users per month. So that gives me a lot of data to work on. So more about that later. And I also write a blog on mobile marketing, growth hacking, and data analytics. In fact, I get close to 1 million visitors on my blog every month. And in fact, I've been so I use a lot of Google products, by the way. I use Google Analytics for my daily analytics. I use AdWords for spending money on Google, and we use DoubleClick for ad operations. I use Gmail for my mails, and of course a lot of other Google products. And I've been very critical of Google on my blog. So I write a lot of articles about what Google should be doing in India and the kind of stuff because they're missing out on the opportunity. I think some of those blogs were read by people in Mountain View, and incidentally last week I was called to Google office in Mountain View to talk about some of the stuff which I've been writing. I think the good part is that since most of my articles were critical, so and that's a sign of a winning company, by the way. A company which actually responds to criticism, and they wanted me to come there, talk about that. I met all the product leaders of all the leading products, AdWords, Analytics, AdSense, Facebook, and Cloud Test Lab, all the product leaders, and they actually wanted to hear more about stuff which is happening in India. So Google being a big company, they've been quite growing very well in India, but they've got their own priorities. So in fact, I was quite humbled to see that a company like Google is listening to somebody sitting in India, writing a blog about them, calling him, and trying to understand what exactly my concerns were. Anyway, so more about that later. So what I'm going to talk about today is, in fact, I got a presentation. So I have, since I do a lot of data analytics in my day-to-day job. So every day I look at numbers and how we can grow our app base, how we can get more users to. I saw almost what 40% people raised hand when they, when I asked about Times of India app. How can I, make it 50%, 60%, 70% of audience, downloading that app? So what I'll do is I'll keep this session very interactive. I'll have a Q&A session with most of the stuff which I'm going to do here. It's going to revolve around basic questions around data analytics and how actually use data analytics in a day-to-day life, right? Or let's say when you get into your jobs tomorrow, how you're actually going to use it in most of the conditions which you'll face. So I'll keep it very Q&A based, and I'll expect you guys to participate and answer. So I'll ask questions and expect you guys to answer that. So let's take a hypothetical situation that you built an app. Let's say you built a news app, right? you want to really measure how is it doing. So what are those key metrics which you would see on a daily basis, or how would you actually ascertain that your app is doing well? So anybody can start.
The number of downloads.
Okay.
Number of articles read.
Alright.
Active users.
Okay. And how do you, again, I think Mukesh mentioned that while it's good to know active user, but how do you really define active user?
Somebody spends around 3 minutes a day. So 3 articles in a day.
Alright.
Giving rating.
Okay. Yeah.
Sir, bounce rate, as in how many people just open the app and then go back, they don't navigate further.
Yeah. Any other data points?
The interactions that the people do, the comments on the news articles.
Right.
Crash reports.
Sorry?
Crash reports.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So all these are very, very good indicators of how my app is doing. But when you are looking at, let's say, obviously every role would have different data points to look at. Let's say you're a business owner and you want to really look at the overall health of your news app. One important key. So I think when you're looking at numbers, you'll always be thrown with a lot of data, right? And data can get confusing. You need to simplify your life and see what are those 2 or 3 key metrics which you need to change, right? While you'll have, let's say, some team members, some technical members will be looking at maybe crash reporting. You'll have somebody in your sales who will be looking at revenue reports. Somebody in your marketing who's looking at all the new users coming in, the conversion. But overall, if I need to ascertain, let's say, I have to look at Times of India as an app. How do I know if it's doing well or not? I think we mentioned installs, right? Now, install, I think, in my opinion, is a very bad metric. For example, it's today very easy to buy an install. I can buy an install for $10. Now, being a rich company, I think if we throw 1 crore, so we'll buy 10 million or 1 million installs, right? And that's very easy to get. So how do I see that those installs, they actually get converted into actual users, right? Installs are not users because somebody's downloading my app. They might have opened it once and they're not coming back. So I think active users, of course, is a very, very important criteria. But again, you need to see how do you really define active, right? For an app like Times of India, where mainly serving news, you can't be coming once in a month, or you can't be coming once in a week. If you're coming once in a week, I know that I'm not able to serve you because news is not a weekly thing. Right? Unlike Ghana, if in Ghana app, you come in once in a week, listening to music on Fridays, Saturdays, I'm fine with that. I think that metrics works for me. But for a news app, it definitely doesn't work. Having said that, we've got another app called QuickBuzz, where most of the traffic comes when there's a cricket match happening. So there, ascertaining daily active users would not be the right measure to look at, right? So you need to be clear about your business objectives and what kind of PG are you targeting and what kind of content are you serving. Depending on that, you look at these 2 or 3 key metrics. So obviously starting with active users, but then again you need to define the active users rate. And then second thing, which is very, very critical. See, we all, especially in today's day and age where there are about, I'm sure you'll have at least 20 apps on your phone, right? Or maybe 30 apps. There are at least, I think, 500,000 apps out there in both Play Store and App Store. Now, how do you really decide which app to download? There's a lot of competition. There are a lot of companies which are advertising, Flipkart and Blueprint and Paytm and so on and so forth. You get to see at least 100 ads every day. You can't install all those apps. So it's important. So that's the reason, in fact, you try out a lot of apps, you delete apps and then you move on to another app. So holding on to a user or what do you call it, attrition, I think Mukesh mentioned about attrition, which is a true reality. People would leave your app, people would uninstall your app. Your objective should be to reduce that number, right? So if you can't say somebody who's downloading my app will stay with me forever, right? So that never happens. So it's about the attrition percentage which you need to really look into because keep on acquiring users. Of course, that should be the objective. But the best marketing you can do is to retain your market to your existing users and make sure that they don't really leave your app. So I would, as a business owner, first focus on converting my installs to active and then making sure that they stay back. Now, when I say they stay back, now it's easier said than done, right? I mean, everyone wants users to stay back. Now, how do they stay back? What are the kind of things you should be looking at? And then you work backwards and see, okay, what are the changes in my product I need to do? what are the features which I need to really do? What are the kind of things which I need to do so that users don't really leave my app? Now that's where data comes in. Right? So I can take, we've been taking, everyone takes really subjective decisions. So I don't like this color. I think the article length should be X scrolls, or we should place 2 ads on page, right? Or we should have photo gallery on page, or photo gallery should be should auto scroll or should scroll on click. So there are a lot of things which you do when you're building a news app. I'm just taking an example of news app, but for every app it might be different. Now every action that happens, because there are users, even if you have 500 users or 5 million users, they're leaving some trail behind, right? They are actually using your app. They are actually leaving a lot of data behind. How they use your app, how much time do they spend, at what time do they drop off, on which screen do they drop off. You've shown a login screen and they don't like logging, so they drop off. When let's say they are looking at photo gallery, your photo size is really heavy, and they just close the app there and there. So all that data you need to use and make sure that every decision that you take is basically based on every single point of data, and it goes to product managers, it goes to your tech guys, and whenever they are discussing a new feature, just throw data at them, because that's what would give them real truth behind the features they're trying to build. In fact, sometimes you're really confused. Let's say you're building something new and you don't know, you don't have data. Right? And that's when the A/B testing comes into the picture. A/B testing is nothing but experiments, right? You're trying to figure out what works for you, right? So there are tools available where. So since I work on mobile apps, there are a lot of tools available which let you actually show different content in a different layout to 2 different users, right? So there's a product manager who believes that I think option A would work, but option B has some nice features which might stick with users. Now, at the end of that experiment, let's say 15 days, 1 day, 7 days, depending on what kind of experiment you're doing, you again get data, right? And then maybe you get option C, which is better, or maybe you find the best option out of A and B. So that's what I think data does to you, gives you a lot of insights and helps you build and reshape your product. Right? So that's something which I think should be your first objective. My question number 2 is, let's say now you launched your app. You want to market it. How would you justify the marketing cost? How would you really decide how much I should be spending? Let's say you got a budget of $100,000, right? Now you need to spend that money. How would you really? So there are 2 or 3 terms which I'm going to provide you. So those terms would be important. So there's something called CPA. So how many of you know what is CPA? That's a very technical term. CPA. That's called, so that's the terminology we use on a daily basis, so pretty standard terminology. It's called cost per acquisition. What does that mean? That how much money I'm spending to get a user. Right? So let's say you have to calculate what's your CPA. How do you calculate CPA? Any idea? Now that I've told you the definition. Anybody? Yeah.
Yeah, the number of users divided by the total cost of the marketing.
Okay. Number of the other. Okay, so you said total marketing cost divided by number of
new users.
Number of
New users.
Opposite, the number of users divided by.
Okay, and how do you define users?
After launching a marketing campaign, how much the users are getting from particular.
How do you define users? So that formula is correct. Marketing divided by number of users. But how do you define users? So that's where the acquisition. How do you define an active user? How do you say that you acquired a user? Let's say Flipkart, right? How would they know that they have acquired a user?
Let's say 2 or 3 purchases, a particular period of time.
Okay. Yeah. So depending on your site, depending on the core offering of your app. Let's say if it is Flipkart, it is shopping at the end of the day. If it is Times of India, it is somebody reading an article. If it is Ghana, it's somebody streaming a song, right? So every app has an action which we expect users to take when they download our app. Right? Now we treat somebody as a user who actually completes that first action, right? So my CPA, the most basic mistake which most of the marketers would do, they would calculate CPA based on visitors that come in, or clicks, or users that actually land on your app, or somebody who downloads your app, or use your app for maybe once or twice. So that is a very misleading definition, because I can today buy, I can advertise, let's say on Facebook, and maybe let's say I'm running, let's say, news app. I can show some really what do you call it, edgy images, and get users to download my app, thinking that they'll get something like that inside. So I'll get a lot of users, but then they'll realize that it's a news app, and nothing new, talk about politics. They'll not stay back, right? They'll not read articles. Similarly, Ghana app, I'm showing a picture of Coldplay, YouTube, but when they download, they see AR Rahman and Bollywood, so they won't stick around. So to calculate CPA accurately, you need to first define what your acquisition actually means, right? So acquisition is basically the user who's actually performing an action which you want all your users to perform inside the app. So that's the first, I think, formula terminology you need to keep in mind. And then second terminology which I'm going to provide you is ARPU. What is ARP? ARPU. Right, okay. So how do you calculate ARPU? Any idea?
Total revenue divided by the number of users.
Okay. Now ARPU itself, while it's a good number to have, but in itself, it won't give you much insights. You need another thing something called LTV. You know what is LTV? Right, lifetime value. So now we'll try and create a formula for lifetime value, and then we'll try and fit that to the original question which I had, that how do you really justify your marketing spends. So anybody can tell me what's the formula for LTV? How do you really calculate LTV?
The tenure for which the customer has been with the product from the time he registers till the recent time, and within that period all the purchases that we will let you know that.
Yeah, but there's one more data point you need to ascertain that. Well, yeah, that's a valid point, that kind of money that you spend. But how do you know when the user is stopping? Because LTV is a lifetime value, right? So you need to know one more data point.
The expected additional value that he is going to create in the coming years.
Yeah. So how do you know that that user's LTV, which is like during the lifetime, this is the maximum value that user is going to do? Yeah.
Current market value into the number of years we expect the product will remain so.
No. Okay. So I think I spoke about attrition, right? People leave your app, they uninstall your app, or they stop using your service. So you need to know how many, what's the acquisition percentage, what's the retention percentage of a typical user you acquire, right? So let's say a few months down the business, you realize that, for example, I give you a real example. In Ghana, the average retention is about 90 days. So after 90 days, we lose all our users, right? So now I know that every month, user is spending about 90 rupees, and they leave within 3 months. Then they don't come back. So I know the LTV is now 270. Right? So that's how I calculate LTV, because unless I know the lifetime of a user, it's not possible for me to calculate the LTV. So assuming now we've got an LTV of 270 rupees, that's it. Let's stick with Ghana. Now how do you now justify marketing spend? So how do you now really tie in all those three things together, CPA, LTV, and your marketing spends?
So the cost per acquisition should be less than LTV, and I should have a required margin.
Right. Perfect. So as long as you're spending less money than the LTV. So now another mistake which most of the marketers would do, they will look at the initial ARPU, right? Now, let's say I spent 70 rupees to acquire a user, or maybe 110 rupees or 150 rupees to acquire a Ghana user. They download the app and they spend about 90 bucks first month. Then I do my analysis and say, hey, I'm losing 60 bucks on every user. Now that's a very wrong way to look at it, because that user is still alive, or they might deliver you more value, they might deliver you more revenue. So you need to really tie in all the data points and not just look at data in isolation. So yeah, that's a I think good answer. So now that you've justified your marketing cost, and we've also calculated CPA, now you're spending money on marketing, right? You're running multiple ads. You're running ads on Facebook, you're running ads on Google, you're running ads even on print, you're running ads on TV. How do you really calculate the effectiveness of each ad? So anybody can attempt, because this is going to be slightly different and maybe slightly longer than our earlier questions. I'll have multiple questions linked into this. Yeah.
Like,
How do you know that your ads are working for you?
if you have 4 media of advertising, like online, print, and web-based, and then we have even app-based. So we have to do a survey. We have to take a sample of all the 4 media, and then see that effect of the people who gone through the online advertising and how much.
Why do you need to do a survey? Everything is, you're getting data from all the users. Why do you need to pick a sample and find that?
So during registration, generally there's a form which asks where do you hear about us. So from those things.
And that's again very old school. We know where the user is coming in from, and I know that what kind of campaigns I'm running and where they clicking. So yeah.
You can easily, for example, you place an ad in the newspaper and see over the next few days what are the users that came in. So you know the effective.
Okay, now this could be misleading again. Let's say I'm running a print ad. Right? Times of India is an ad. But I'm also running ad in Facebook. But I'm also running, let's say, TV ad. Or let's say, I'm doing something at 10 different places. Now, how do I know that which campaign works for me? That's the question.
So holding on to one. So if I have four mediums, I hold on to one and let the 3 running and see what is the difference.
That sometimes it's difficult to do that because when you're, let's say, marketing and you really want full impact, you continue to spend across different mediums. So there could be a scenario, let's say, okay, first stick to only one medium. Let's say we're running campaigns only on online media, which is Facebook, Google, and let's say some of the ad networks. Yeah.
So there is this very good thing called link tagging. Tag is when you link when you place on a particular. Let's say if I'm placing a link on Facebook, I'll just tag that link with the campaign name and with the medium name. And if I have, let's say, Google Analytics on my website, so whatever traffic that comes from Facebook, it will direct me that this all traffic is coming from Facebook, this all traffic is coming from Google, this all traffic is coming from Bing or whatever. So that's where I can
Who uses link? Okay, yeah. That's step one.
yeah.
Right. After that, so I know, okay, so I know that has spent $1,000 on Facebook, $1,000 on Google, and from Facebook, let's say 5,000 people have landed. From Google, 10,000 people have landed. So I know, let's say, I know cost per click, I know whatever cost per acquisition, not cost per acquisition. Right now, I just only know that Google has landed. Now, what's the next step?
So now I need to define my what will be. Yeah, I'll define my goals. Like if a user comes to my website, what is my goal that I want him to achieve, right? And on the basis of that, I can ascertain that how many users are actually achieving that particular goal. Let's say my goal is for a particular user to fill a particular form. So if my let's say Facebook account links to that particular form and the user submits that form, I'll consider this as an achieved goal.
Right.
On the basis of that, I can ascertain what is my average cost.
Okay, so you let's say you're running in Facebook, you're running 20 ads, and each ad has a different tag, like you said, we call it attribution tag. And then looking at each attribution tag, you see which tag delivers you better conversion tag. So that's easy to find, right? Because there are tools available. There are, in fact, Google Analytics is one of the foremost tools which actually helps you do that. Of course, there's some issue with Google Analytics. It won't tell you how many users coming from Facebook for your app, not your website. So we'll talk about it a little later. So there are tools which actually tell you that which campaign, which creative got you more users, and then finally they converted, right? Now imagine you're running a print ad in Times of India. How do you really find out that that ad has given you the kind of ROI which you expected?
Probably
how data will help you find out that this ad worked for you?
let's say I keep all my advertising spend constant and I give a print ad and I see the difference. I keep all the metrics same, everything same, and I deliver a print ad and see what's the user behavior, and I can ascertain there won't be any accurate measure. Apart from that, what I can also do is I can post a QR code in that particular print ad and see what's the click-through rate.
How many of you use QR codes? Actually, right? See,
Yeah.
it's a marketing fan. I don't think so.
I keep everything constant and see what a print brand?
Okay, sometimes, since we are all, consuming a lot of media every day, it's really funny that you see ad in Times of India, and then you, let's say, go to Facebook, and you see that ad. So and then you might click there.
Yeah,
So, how do you really then know that somebody who saw my ad in Times of India actually clicked there and came? It's not that easy. So, again, data would come to the next. Yes, sir.
So maybe since people generally read newspaper in the morning, so the time at which the user reacted to my ad will give me a hint.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. But again, in one of my articles where I was critical of Google, I keep so I mentioned that Google actually hides, while Google Analytics and Play Store will give you a lot of data. They actually hide more data than they reveal, right? So, for example, Google doesn't tell you, Play Store, when you let's say upload your app, Android app on Play Store, they don't tell you at what time of the day the app was downloaded, right? So, you don't have that data, right? So, how do you really know? That's a good point, but there are tools which can tell you what point, but Google by default won't tell you. Yeah, anyway. Okay. So, again, let's say I'm running an ad in Times of India for Flipkart.com, right? So Flipkart keeps advertising, right? You see full page ads. Now, how do they know that it is the cost on print ads justified? Of course, it gives them overall bump in numbers. There's a feel good, there are a lot of users coming in. We've seen increase in orders by 20%, 30%. But is that 2 crores which we spend on Times of India is worth it? How do I really prove that with accurate data? So while there's no definitive science to find out data from offline to online, but there are definite ways, tools which actually help you do that. For example, today most of the sites they track how do people land on the site, right? So Flipkart will be tracking that somebody searching for a Samsung Galaxy phone and they're landing. So somebody searching for LG TV and they're landing on the Flipkart site. But 70% of the users, they actually, or 60% of the users for most of the sites, they search for brand words, right? They're searching for Flipkart and they're landing on Flipkart, right? And that's the typical behavior. There are a lot of users who actually, in fact, very interesting data I had, that 20% of the users, they search Google in Google and then they, see first in that Google.com. So that's a typical behavior. You search and then you go inside, right? So your analytics tool can actually tell you that how many people are searching for your brand keyword, right? So one definitive way to find out is that how many brand keyword searches have gone up in last, let's say you ran a campaign yesterday, last 24 hours. So if somebody, let's say you get a million people searching for Flipkart and suddenly you get 2.5 million people searching for Flipkart, you know that something has triggered that. So again, that tool will tell you that there's been 40% increase in people searching Flipkart on Google. So that's one very simple way of knowing that yes, there are people coming in from print ad. Let's say you're running a radio ad. Let's say you're running a radio ad in Chandigarh, right? Now in radio ad, somebody listens to let's say when I was Paytm, we started doing radio ads. So how do we really find out that somebody is listening to my ad and then coming to Paytm.com? And since radio is a very local medium, city-specific advertising medium, you open your analytics tool. We use Google Analytics, so one of the best analytics tools. So I would recommend that you start learning that tool. Kind of see the bare minimum requirement you should have when you're learning analytics. So when you open Google Analytics, it actually tells you from every city what's the split of your. You have three kinds of traffic, right? You've got direct traffic, people who just type in Paytm.com, or you suddenly straightaway go and they know what they need to do. Then there's organic searches, and the third one is your paid traffic, right? So paid traffic is you're spending money, paid traffic goes up or goes down. So direct traffic is a clear indication of your brand working, right? So when you run a campaign on radio or TV, people just remember that, and then they type Flipkart.com. So if your direct entry into site is increasing, that means your brand recall is going up, right? So that you can clearly attribute to TV or to radio because you know what kind of campaigns you're running. So I think every ad that you run will leave some data, some train into your tool, so that you can pick that up and make informed decisions. So that's my I think question, that you optimize your ads across different videos. You found out that which ads work for you. Now let's say you're running a Flipkart app, right, or shopping app. Going back to my first question, which is the most important KPI which you would measure? Let's say you get 20 million people opening your app every month, or 10 million, whatever. Now from there on, you are a product guy, right? You are building, you are looking at improving the app, you are looking at increasing the conversion, which means you want people to shop, right? Eventually, that's the end objective. But it's not easy to get everyone to start shopping immediately. So how many of us go to app and just browse and come back? It doesn't mean that I'm not interested. It also doesn't mean that I want to shop. There are a lot of visitors who would go, they would seek information, maybe go back next day, maybe they'll see your mail or they get a discounted mail like that and they go back. Okay? So you are a product guy and you really want to take a decision on how do you really, what are those key metrics which you would be focusing on. So I think we discussed that shopping for Flipkart, somebody converting is important, but is that the only metrics? Let's say so what we'll do is we'll actually look metrics from a product point of view, from a technical point of view, and from a business side point of view. So from business side point of view, I think we've already discussed that they want people to convert, right? Now before they convert, there are a lot of other things that happens before that, right? So the day you enter and the day you convert, you do a lot of things. So how do you really measure that? And what are those key metrics which you will try and improve so that your conversion happens?
Time spent on the app, browsing various products.
The time spent is again very subjective, and also, frankly, in today's day and age, I think for some apps, time spent is not a good metric. For example, for Paytm, our objective was that somebody should come in and within 10 seconds they should leave. The idea is to recharge, right? And just recharge and go. So again, time spent, yeah, for Flipkart it could be important, but yeah, any other metric which is very difficult.
If I'm looking on Flipkart, then if I'm looking on particular type of products like only for mobiles, then I am a targeted user and I have a particular product in mind. But if I am looking on multiple products like clothes, mobiles, televisions and everything, then I am just browsing and I might not be a target customer.
Okay.
Sir, which are the popular categories that the users are going to? So, sir, like if in sunglasses, if people are preferring more of Ray-Ban glasses, then maybe introduce a separate link right at the start for Ray-Ban glasses, and then also find out what is the type of discount percentage which is attracting more people, like 50%, 60%. So you can always use the tag along with the Ray-Ban at the first page itself.
Right. Okay. Those are technical pieces. I'm saying something which is long term, which is going to impact the product.
Page views. Probably page views or number of products that are posted is.
So sometimes page views again can be a wrong term because somebody's browsing more pages, that means they are not able to find something, right? Or maybe they're a little confused on what to do.
Probably the revisit rate. So how many times is
Right. So yeah, before they actually because especially in India, when we shop online, especially I'm talking about my personal behavior, I tend to visit a product. Unless of course it's a utility and it's something which is my day-to-day thing. Let's say if I have to buy a shoe or a mobile phone or anything of little value, I'll at least go to multiple sites, or I'll come back to that site a couple of times and maybe compare different products. Right? So my repeat visit is something which is really critical. So let's say if I have to improve my repeat visit, let's say product manager realizes that somebody who visits my app 6-7 times, chances of them converting is much higher than somebody visiting just once or twice. So now, let's say this data point is there that I need to make sure that somebody comes to my app 6 or 7 times, or at least come to relevant products. So while all that is taken care of, that they come to relevant products, I try and customize the experience and personalize the kind of offers they need. So now, what are the kind of features which now we have this data? Now, how will product managers optimize, let's say, this app to make sure that repeat visits are included?
So just like you said, that a person will visit the same product again and again, so they can easily make that product easily available, easily accessible, just at a click of a button. That is your shopping bag or shopping cart. So we'll include an option of shopping cart where a person can easily click on that cart and immediately go to the
product.
product.
My question is that how do you bring me back? What are those touch points which you have? Think from an app point of view. You know, you've been using apps, so you would know how you go back to the app.
Sir, maybe through notifications, like on an Android phone, if you get a notification that you just came and visited this, maybe you want to give it a...
Right, notification is one. What else? What are other touch points?
So giving offers on the second purchase, like it is
Right, so giving offer on a second purchase, yeah.
Like I went to Myntra and saw some Puma shoes and then I closed it, but just next day I am browsing through Facebook, I see the ad that is customized according to...
That's called retargeting, so that's brilliant. That's another tool to bring the users back. In fact, we talk about retargeting also in detail. So yeah, any other?
And the third thing is like, if once I buy Reebok shoes, that's my personal experience, after 2 or 3 months, they show me again that these are the new products by the Reebok. So
Yeah, again, so there's an extension to retargeting. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm saying, so you do push notifications, you do, maybe customized offers through email, you do retargeting, you maybe send a mailer to a guy with the kind of offers they're looking at. So to build all this, right? So one way of doing this is that, okay, you decided that push notification works. But does it really work? I mean, you send millions of, so you might be receiving a lot of push notifications. How many of you really, click on all the pushes? If, just
Most of the time we just
correct. You remove the notification. So it's not a sure shot way of bringing you the back. What if that push notification was talking to you, right? Right now, if you see most of the push notifications are very generic in nature. 25% off on shoes, right? 40% off on whatever. Even big companies like Flipkart and Paytm, while I was working there, we tried customizing and personalizing the push notification, but we realized that when we send a standard generic message, the conversion rate is much lower. More you personalize it, more you target it, chances are that conversion will increase. So, as a product guy, my objective should be to make sure that when I talk to you, I understand you, I know your intent, and then present you either it is push, either it is email, either it is retargeting, or any other form of communication I have with you. More personalized way I try and bring you back. Right? So that's something which I think most of the product managers should be, if you get into product management, should be looking at, trying to understand what the users really want and talk to them one-on-one. And technology actually allows you to do that. Right? You might say, I have 25 million users, I can't talk to all 25 million users. But obviously you're not physically talking to all of them, but your technology is there which helps you find. So when I say 25 million, there'll be personas, there'll be buckets. So most of those 25 million users would fall in, let's say, 100,000 buckets, right? Or 50,000 buckets. So you don't really need to create 25 million messages. You actually need to understand those personas, create buckets, and then talk to them accordingly. Right. So so I think we discussed Flipkart and the role of a product manager. So you've done that, and you really increase your conversion. Now it comes to, let's say, deciding which. When you open the app, you see a lot of products are being sold. Right? How do you decide what products would go up, what products would come in second scroll? How do you really take that decision? So,
browsing history.
sorry.
Browsing history of the user.
Okay, so yeah.
Products added in the wish list or in the cart.
So if you go to Flipkart today, you always see products which are which you browsed earlier. While there is a section which they recommend you browse, but then there are other products also which you never seen before. So how do they take the call that I need to show those products to you? Yes. So while everything is given by data, you have to realize that when we take a decision, there's some other data which is like what I call it the motherhood data, your bottom line, right, your revenues. So you also have to keep that in mind, that everything that you do, every change, little change that you make your product or your service, it eventually has to bring you revenue. Right? So everything flows down from there. So now that I'm giving you that context, and you are a product guy, obviously I would like to serve you. Let's say you come to my app and every time you buy something worth $100, you buy a very cheap quality Micromax back cover, right? Or you buy a pencil from my side. Ideally, if I look at just one side of data, I would say, okay, this guy is interested in mobile accessories, this guy is interested in only stationery. Let me really bombard him with that kind of stuff. I've profiled this guy. So is that the right way of really,
We also have to
starting?
push the products that make us the maximum profit.
Yeah, so that's one of the factors. I mean, obviously, for example, for Flipkart, fashion will make maximum margins and mobile makes least margin what they sell. But they also have to look at other data. So margin is one thing, which is what you call it profit. What other data point they look at besides margin?
You'll also have data that a particular user purchased product A, you'll also purchase product B. So that two products may be related. So if a new person is purchasing product A,
Yes, sure. That personalization, I think I've already covered. That obviously needs to be there. I think besides those data points, which helps you decide, which helps you personalize the experience of the user, there are, like for example, she mentioned that products which actually deliver you more profit. While it's good to have product which will deliver you more profit, for example, let's say shoes, they typically have 30% margin versus mobile phones, which will have roughly about 3% margin, right? Now, if we go by her choice, if she's the product manager, she'll say, let's put all the fashion products on the homepage because that's where I'll make maximum money. But is that the right way to look at it? Will you do that way? I mean, is there any other data point which you're missing?
So let's say making the same and offering the same.
Right. So basically, how many quantities you typically sell for the product also makes an impact. For example, if I sell million mobile phones at 2% margin versus 5,000 shoes at 30% margin, so the decision is very clear that which product should take priority. Right? So when I'm running a sale, it's very clear that which products will deliver me, not just the margin, but also the GMV and the gross value. Because while the profit percentage might be good, but my overall profit increases when I sell more mobile phones. Right? So that's how you start taking. The example which I'm giving is that every decision that you take, every pixel that is available in your app can be decided by data that is available to you, and then you have to combine multiple data points. One data point alone will actually not give you much information. I think I'm more or less done with my question. I have one last question for you guys. Have you heard about something called cohorts? What are cohorts? Cohorts. COHORTS. Okay. So that's another. So we spoke about retention, right? That you acquire 100 users, and they live with you for 3 months, or they after every month almost about 40% people leave you. Now, when you just look at this data in isolation, it is not meaningful, right? So, for example, I look at data for my Ghana app that I acquired 1,000 users in the month of May, and 70% have left in June. 30% have left in of that 70% have left in July. Another 15% have left in August. Right? While it's a good data point to have, I know that there's something wrong with my app that almost 85% people are leaving my app within 3 months. But will I be able to take any meaningful action, or will I be able to take any? Will I have any insights into this data and go back to the product and say we need to do something? Because here, if I go back to the product, I'll say product is not good, something is not working. Now, how do I really find out what thing is not working? While cohorts are, this is called cohorts, when you actually bucket the users and then see their attrition over a period of time. It could be daily attrition, weekly, monthly, depending on what kind of product you're building. So how do you really now create cohorts which are insightful, which are meaningful? So anybody can take a shot at that. Let's say we'll take an example of Ghana. So how do I really know that? What do I need to do beyond looking at just this data? How do you really customize our cohorts to make sure that it is meaningful to my product guys, or to my tech guys, or to my business guys?
Reviews by customer.
Okay, so we're specifically talking about cohorts. Let's say if I got 1,000 users and only 100 have stayed back with me, what happened to those 900 users? We're trying to really figure that out. So you're not constantly updating.
So we can use a basic RFM model, recency, frequency and molecule.
Targeting is not done correctly. If the customer is visiting site and only looking at the sales.
How do I know that? So then I'm sure you'll have answers, because after last half an hour, whatever I told you about, you'll have all those answers. But how do I really now find it out? How do I really slice and dice my cohorts and see, okay, what doesn't? Let's say specifically taking Ghana example, which is a music streaming app. Now, how do I know that which users have stayed back and people who left? What I did do for them? What were the things which were missing, which I can improve now?
Sir, another important point could be that out of the 900 users that are leaving, how many users have already been for Ghana for 3 months, like the LTV? So many users that are leaving are actually leaving because the 3 months are completed.
No. That's not the reason, right? Because 3 months are completed, right? Maybe they could have stayed back with me for 6 months, right? Now, my LTV is 3 months, that doesn't mean that everyone lives in 3 months.
In the music
objective is not that you should live with me for 3 months. You should live with me forever, right?
in the music industry, like in Ghana, the music is constantly updating. The new albums are coming on. So the person who is using Ghana, he in the time of 3 months, he is not saying that the company, the app is not updating the new, music and all. So he is seeing the trend that the old music which was 3 months ago, it's still there on the.
How do I know that all 900 users left because of this?
What I can normally do is I can customize users into 3 groups. One are the users who are actually using my app very frequently. Second, which are averaging out. Third is which are leaving. Now what I can do is I can compare the behavior of my users which are loving my app, which are hating my app. And I can see the past behavior of people who are hating my app and see what are the steps, what are the basic actions that they are taking in my app and what actually lead to their exit behavior. Probably I can analyze from the group that I selected, people who are loving my app, I can find out what are the things that is actually adding to my customers or probably what they are loving, and I can improve on that. I can analyze the historical behavior of my exiting users and see what are the things that I can probably work upon and improve my app.
How do you, that's what I'm trying to understand. So your exiting users, how do you slice and dice? So I'm using this word slice and dice.
I can see that, let's say there are ABC features which are really doing well and people are using that. I can see whether these people, the people who are exiting the app, whether they are actually using ABC features or not. If they are using these ABC features, I can see that they are perceiving the same features differently. And if they are not using these features, I can actually tell good.
Yeah, so 1 point,
Dividing customer according to their profile, means which age group they are and how are different groups are sitting.
I started with cohorts, right? Now cohorts in itself, won't give you much data if you look at overall cohorts. So we need to now slice and dice and see. Maybe I think we spoke about 12,000 handsets available, right? Now I need to see that of my top 10 handsets, what's the addition rate versus next 11 to 90 versus next 91 to 100. That will give me some insight. Okay, users from my top 10 handsets are leaving. Now I know this. That means there's something wrong with the app which is not working with this top 10 handsets. So I need to first focus there. Now I need to slice my codes again. Saying, okay, what's the next thing within devices I can see? Let me look at the OS version compatibility. So Android has this multiple starting from 2.0 to 5.0 now. Which version? So then I slice the data, slice the codes further. I say, okay, I will only look at users look at users for version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5. Then I might see some different behavior. Okay, version 4, they actually have more attrition. So okay, let me focus on version 4. So what kind of resolution they have. So that is 1 point. And then you see age group, for example. What kind of age group? So in music I'm attracting anyone from 15 to 65, right? Now I need to, if I just look at data, overall data, and say, okay, 90% people are leaving, that's still meaningless. If I know that people between the age of 15 and 21, only about 60% are leaving, versus somebody who's 45 to 65, 99% of them are leaving. So I need to then go back to the product team or the content team saying, we don't have content for people who are above 45. Third way to again slice the data is that I look at data city-wise. I see top metros versus tier 2. Right? So I see people who are in top metros, they spend less time, or they leave, they browse less albums versus somebody in tier 2. Why is that? So that could be one reason that I need to take back to my content team or product team saying, are we doing something? Are we not doing something for tier 1 city users that they are leaving more than let's say tier 2 users are doing? So I think all these, and there can be so many such slicing which is possible. From your age to affinities to interest to device level to location and a lot of other stuff. So once you start slicing that data, let's say start getting meaningful results, right? And then you have something which you can take back to the product and say, okay, I found out that this could be the reason. Of course, there's always some hypothesis you need to make, but then that's backed by some data you have. And then it will be easier for you to make those changes, either it is adding content or adding a feature, or maybe changing the app, or looking at supporting multiple resolutions. All those meaningful actions will only come in once you have further subsection of all the data that you have. Yeah, so that's, I think, pretty much I had to share. Anything specific you guys want to ask, I'll be happy to answer.
So, when I use my internet, I usually have a lot of advertisements of whatever I looked up, like a lot of them.
Yeah,
but
that's retargeting.
Yeah. So, but I'm not actually seeing similar trends in app. Is it in the initial stage?
Yeah.
Is it because
Yeah. Good question. In fact, so retargeting on web is pretty old technology. Has been there for the last 10-12 years. It has perfected over a period of time. In fact, cookies play a very important role. I think if you wanted to get rid of cookies, but yeah, in a way, advertisers have really used cookies and really thrown ads at you, so they know what you do on the web, and then they throw relevant or maybe irrelevant content to you. The app side, the experience is slightly broken because in apps there are no cookies, right? Apps, they work on a slightly different model. So somebody who visits a particular app, they don't generally leave a trail behind, unless they have specifically included some SDK or tag inside which leaves the trail behind for the tool which I am using. So the experience is a little broken there while remarketing on mobile is growing, but the technology is still not perfect. While if you are on Facebook, yeah, it works because Facebook knows that you are the same user because you always log in Facebook. But then there are a lot of other platforms which do not know. For example, Google is still not 100% sure about the same user. If you are the same user when let's say you visit a Paytm app and then you suddenly go to a mobile browser site and then you start browsing, let's say, Times of India. So they don't know that it is the same user. So they can retarget Paytm ad to you within Times of India. So that technology is getting perfected, but it's almost there. I think you'll not miss them anymore. You'll start seeing them in the next few months that all those ads will be chasing you again. So don't really look at stuff which you don't want others to know because it may not be bad. Yeah.
The blog you were talking about, you write.
Sorry?
You said you write a blog.
Yeah.
What's the name? What is the blog?
It's on, you guys know medium.com? Yes. Yeah, so I'm on medium.com, just search for Deepak Abbot.
Why does Myntra has moved to only app, and like personally I don't like shopping on app, so I can't buy clothes by looking and browsing on the app. I would prefer on the laptop. So is it that? And then when I visited Myntra and they display a message that visit the app, download the app. So I immediately go on to Flipkart or other their competitors.
So you are a minority country. So you know how many users use desktop in India? How many million? Approximately. Actively using internet or desktop? Laptop, desktop, whatever.
So it's less than the number of mobile.
No, I'm just trying to understand. You know how many million users are using laptop and desktop? Internet and laptop and desktop?
30 crores. Using the
30 crores. Wow.
Including the mobile.
I'm talking about desktop and laptop. So there are about 20 billion people actively using laptop and desktop, using internet on laptop and desktop. That means 2 crores. Now how many users are using internet on mobile? roughly
500 million.
not 500 million, but yeah, 250 million, right? So 20 million versus 250 million. So I have to prioritize, right? So if I have limited resources, or if I need to focus, and I need to see where the future is moving, right? So if you look at the growth rate, last year also this 20 million was maybe 19.5 million. But last year this 250 million was 120 million. So it's growing 2x year on year. If I need to prioritize, I need to focus. I need to work on tools and technologies and the destination, which is future.
So what is the business model? Are these websites running on loss? They are selling shoes at 50%, mobile phones at 20%. So all
I think you should be able to answer that. I'm not an expert, so or any VC, I don't care, will be able to answer that. Difficult to really answer that. They are all in a valuation game right now, so difficult to justify these kinds of things. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
With this, we come towards the end of today's session, and I would like to welcome our faculty, Ananya ma'am and London sir, to the session, and a loud round of applause for London sir and Ananya ma'am. We have a short summary of whatever the session was about since the morning. And I hope the 3 hours that you spent here added value, and as Mukesh sir started in the beginning, that even 5 minutes have value. And if you reduce our WhatsApp time a little, and this 3 hours actually, we are hoping has created value in all of your lives. So starting with Mukesh sir's session, we saw how hippo versus data actually helped take the right decisions in the form that he was telling his experiences about. Then we saw how data is present everywhere and how we can make use of it in our daily lives. He covered not just analytics, he covered marketing, he covered customer psyche, he included Keno model and how we can surprise the customer and understand the customer by using data. And towards the summary of his PPT, he told us how actions without results lead only to noise and they actually make no sense. And how important it is for us to find out our own mistakes. He emphasized on the fact that we should get paid for what we do best and we should enjoy what we do. And the last point that he made, and he proved that giving back to the community actually means a lot. And it should be a part of our conscience that we give back to the community whatever we gain and in whatever way we can. Coming to the next presentation, it was by Mr. Akshat Harbola. It was very short and sweet, mostly, how it was about creating value in self. So he taught us basically three into two suggestions that he gave us. The first was taking initiatives and how, in his own experience, he proved that where there is a will, there is a way. He spoke about sharpening your saws. He spoke about not being a bore and how our Jack turned into a not so boring boy after all. And thinking big. He started with Everest when he wanted to camp. So it's very important to think big when we start something. Then there were another 3 points which were 3 questions basically, which asked whether I am actually really getting smarter and how I am accomplishing in the extracurriculars and am I making friends for life. The last and one of the most interactive sessions was by Mr. Abbot. He sliced and diced a complicated process of customer acquisition, retention, and product management. He told us how latest data applications, especially in mobile apps, can help us to figure out how our product should be. And he told us how varied the definition of acquisition can be for different mobile applications. He talked about the basics of LTV, CPA, ARPU, and cohorts, and how these are assessed in business analytics, and what medium of advertising serves best and how to figure out that it serves you best. So this was